Welcome to Hollywood on the Rocks. I am Chris Gore. I am fresh off Paulie from the Latino Slant. I'm fresh off of his stream, and I'm here to talk to you about a whole bunch of films. Alan Ng is going to join me very shortly. He is on location, about to see, I don't know, he'll tell us all about it once I get him on camera here. Thank you for joining us here on a Wednesday night. It's our Hollywood on the Rocks show, so grab yourself a beverage like I have. Get yourself properly lubricated with your drink. Do that with your drink. Hello to everybody in the chat. We'll be getting to your chat questions. A lot to discuss today and some stuff I'm going to tease you about. I'm going to tease you about a couple of things, but here we go. Let's get started. It's another edition of the Film Threat podcast. This is our special edition. This is, you know what this is? It's Hollywood on the Rocks. Here we go. Welcome back. Let me add my buddy here to the stream here.
Hey everybody.
What are you doing? Alan is.
I'm at the Grove.
Where are you?
I'm at the Grove in LA. Yeah, we're about to see a press screening for The Bad Guys, which I believe you've seen already.
I have already seen it. I've been told that like they would prefer that, you know, there's not a full review until like tomorrow or something. I don't know. The movie's really fun. I don't know why they care about stuff like that. But before we get into that, a couple of things. One, grab yourself a beverage. Get yourself, you know, I don't know. You're going to need this beverage because when watching Hollywood on the Rocks, you take a shot when somebody talks about movies. Just grab yourself a little drink. You don't have to have anything that will, you know, be a problem for you if you have too many shots. I also want to say, hey, we're easy to get in touch with. Contact us. Go to filmthreat.com/contact. Also, I'm going to send you something for free. If you send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to Film Threat 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California 90036, I'll send you some stickers or something. I'll send you something. Also, a reminder to please like, subscribe, and share. I'm getting this out of the way at the top so that we can have a conversation. But it's really important. We are on the road to getting 100,000 subscribers. Yes, that's our goal. We're very close to unlocking something. But we'll see. And also, if you like the shirt that I'm wearing now, you like the Film Threat mug that I have here, support us. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. Grab yourself a piece of Film Threat merch. I'm fond of saying that Film Threat t-shirts cure nudity on contact. There you go. And most important, join the conversation. Post your questions and comments because there's a lot to discuss today. But one, I want to kick it off with one thing right here that Alan, look, I sent you a note on our work chat. I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset now by something that you did. And we need to talk about it. It's you did this video. Okay.
Well, we did the video. I just posted it.
That's true. Well, you posted it as its own separate video, but let me explain this, right? Let me share. I'm going to try to share screen here for a second because I want to, there's got to be a tab where I have like, wait, this will be funny. If I share that, look, that's us. That's our show right now. I don't think, okay, no, we're not going to share that. We're going to go directly to this. That's gotta be weird. Okay.
I know. So how far are we lagging?
Okay. If you look at our videos here, there's a video that Alan did where Alan did a video where it says exposed. Alan exposed the 40,000 sub challenge because I said quite simply, if we get to 40,000 subscribers, I'm going to show you a video of Alan that I've been working on for years. Okay, I have been working on this video. True, I've been working on it for years. But here's what I don't like about this. And I'm going to let the chat help me with this right now. I don't want the Film Threat YouTube channel to become about the Film Threat YouTube channel. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I subscribe to a lot of different YouTube channels, and as soon as a channel starts to become about the channel itself and not about the topic, because the Film Threat YouTube channel should be about movies that are opening in theaters, interviews with filmmakers, discussions of indie film. A lot of the discussions that we have about film, Alan, we've gotten into some great discussions. I don't want the channel to be about the channel. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm all into shameless marketing, and and that's why it's there. It's just absolutely shameless
You
marketing.
spun off a video because look, I know from the algorithm we can only do a certain number of videos a day before we kind of like they kind of scale it back.
Yeah.
I just don't want, it's like as soon as you go to like the Alan exposed, you weren't exposed.
No, I will be though.
Well, when this video comes out, once we reach 40,000, which that could happen if everyone like who watches this video tonight gets a friend of theirs to subscribe, like we could get up to 40,000. We could debut this video on Friday.
I think we're at upper 38,000 right now. I think
we're making, but I don't want this is just as a rule. I don't want the channel to become about the channel. There are other YouTube channels that I like that I have unsubscribed from because at a certain point, the person's not talking about comic books or nerd culture or movies. The person's talking about themselves and the channel now.
Yeah.
It's organic. Like for example, are you seeing the movie with your daughter?
Yes.
Okay, so that's an organic thing. You're a father. You have a daughter that's the right age for this movie. You're going to see it together. It'll probably come up in conversation what your daughter thought about, the movie, right? That's organic. But if Alan is talking about his daughter randomly on the channel, then spins off another video about it, I just don't. I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, no. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think for me it was more about the challenge, getting us to 40,000, and so this is a challenge that has been placed out to our viewers, and so we're just kind of making it known broader and hopefully bring more people into the live streams here. It's not like I have a series of personal videos planned of both of us. I agree with you there. That's the last place I want to go. But I think this is something specifically for this challenge.
Well, speaking of a challenge, let me just say, slap that like button.
Oh, wow.
It's important that we promote we're able to facilitate a conversation about movies, which we'll be having in the chat. I'm going to get to your comments momentarily, but it's important for me that we are talking about, film. We're talking about whether it's in theaters or whether it's an indie or small thing, and also talking to filmmakers. But I do want to remind people that our reviews are delicious.
Holy fucking shit, these reviews are delicious.
They are. I think the films, and Alan has a lot to do with that. Alan is a work because you probably review a movie a day. Not that you reviewed it on the day, but there are days where multiple Alaning reviews show up.
Yeah, last year was well over 400 reviews I put up.
That's more than a review a day. But I just don't want to get to the point where we're doing a video and the video is my channel is under attack. Yeah. I see those, and it's almost become a joke. Unless this would be great on Father's Day. This is what we should do. Tell me if you think this is a good idea. Okay. We should put my channel is under attack, and we just do and it's actually attack, an actual attack.
Yes.
Come on, you're a dad. That's a dad joke. You would.
Yes, it is a dad joke.
All right, wait.
And that's the response.
There you go. That'll get people to subscribe to our channel. That'll get people. But look, I just don't want. I want to see what the chat has to say about this.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I mean, honestly, it's a one-time thing. So until we get to the 50K challenge.
Right. Well, we got some great comments here. Some super chats just came in. Holy cow! Akanikas for $10 says Asanika, like cinema. Asanika. Okay, Asanika. Okay. Tell me if I'm doing it right. Alan looking good on location again at the Grove right now. You could, if you're at the Grove right now walking around, you could totally interrupt.
Yeah, I'm by the farmer's market. You can stop by.
Asanika, thank you. And the farmer's market's great. There's some great things there. And low watermark for $50. Woohoo! We have to celebrate that one. You know what we're going to celebrate it with? I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to show you what we're going to celebrate it with.
You can't really get much more boob like that.
Everything I see reminds me of her. We're on our way to Comic-Con. Let's go.
Everywhere I go, it reminds me of her.
That's a joke from the Naked Gun movie that every time I drive down to San Diego and I see that nuclear power plant, I can't get that out of my head. Low watermark for 50 says, let's talk about these awards. Challenge this. All right, yeah, we're gonna talk about award this later for sure. But I want to get to some of the other comments here that people are chatting about it. Nuclear bubes. Yeah, it totally is. And then, from our other chat, Nemo Nova says, Chris, I'm going to rent Hal tonight. Thanks for the tip. I had no idea there was a documentary about Hal Ashby. Thanks. It's the director of Harold and Maude. See, we're talking about movies now. We're talking about movies now. Someone says here, you can smack Alan. I'm not going to do that. I'm not we never get to that. We do bust each other's balls, though. We do. I mean, that just happens.
But you know, I'm going to do something for the 50K challenge when that comes around. So,
well, we got to get what's the unique? My channel is under attack face. Like, what is that? I just don't want to be like, it's the Home Alone face. I want us to be taken a little bit more seriously, and not that I get sucked in. I'll watch that clickbait stuff as well, but I just don't want my face. Like, there was a little bit. This was a couple weeks ago. You were putting like my face on every video. And I was like, Alan, I have to live with myself. I don't want to see myself. Like, honestly, I don't want to see myself. So maybe we just dial that back a little bit. It's more organic. And hey,
considering it's just one video, and it is for a milestone moment. So
well, that's true. True.
I mean, honestly, that's the only reason. Because I agree with you. I want to talk about movies. I don't want to talk about people. But this is one video, and this is one milestone.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, like, what? We want to get to 100K by the end of the year.
That's our goal, 100K.
You got to do little things to kind of reward those little milestones.
Well, we're on the road. SJ, her name is Sarah, I assume. I'm not going to... we had a conversation about the Golden Path. If you know what the Golden Path is, you're in one of my favorite clubs. So... thank you, Sarah, for joining the chat. This is great. Like, here we go. James Kelly says, I like that Film Threat is the Neiman Marcus of film channels. I don't care about the Walmart channels. I'll take that. I'm going to assume that that's a compliment. I'm going to assume it's the compliment.
I mean, I don't want to get clickbaity with, talking about, Star Wars and Avengers all the time or what's wrong with Disney, but
it's going to come up, Alan. It's going to come up. I just don't want the channel to always be about that. And Turo said, I like the girl that says Film Threat sucks. Well, she's right here.
These movie reviews are delicious. Film Threat sucks.
And look, just so you know, that we're not all about, appreciating the female form. Here's one for the ladies or wherever you are.
These movie reviews are delicious.
I actually chatted with him the other day.
I loaded a whole bunch of like dumb videos on here just to like it's just a way to kind of break things up, because the conversation goes where it goes. But I don't know. I don't know how people are feeling about this. When I see other channels like that, I kind of cringe a little bit. So the Film Philosopher says, hey, you guys, you changed the time, so I can't stick around too long, but it's good to see you busy from 6 to 8. We'll listen in while I can. Hey, you can always watch the replay because we keep up our live streams. So Turo says, now the site is under attack. So, and then here we go. Radio Man 1017 says, in light of Morbius's colossal failure, an interesting topic would be how to make a movie starring a villain without having to turn them into a hero. Joker did it, but the Spider-Verse isn't getting it. That'd be a good conversation. So.
Disney's been doing that too. I mean, Cruella is a good person now. Maleficent is good. You know, they just, I don't know, can we have real villains again? You know,
Yeah.
the last few Disney movies don't have villains in them.
Yeah. Well, Justice Shepard says, watched Batman. There's a lot more woke messaging than was let on. Hour too long and plot armor throughout. Yeah, Justice, I agree. I wasn't, I did not hate the Batman. It just wasn't. There are things I like about it a lot in terms of like the tone and sort of the slow pacing, but then it just became another Hollywood spectacle. And it seemed like it was just studio noted to death. So I don't know. I feel like you should get, Alan. You should maybe well, here, just on the Batman thing. Just want to let you know I picked this up. I want you to see this. It is The Art of the Batman. It's a book that just released today. And I'm a little, to be honest, I mean, the best part of this book is I have a little bookmark. I made this bookmark myself. Is all the stuff from the Riddler, and it's got like all the Riddler cards. You can kind of like actually get a better look at them. All the Riddler cards and riddles are in here, which is kind of neat. What I don't like about this book, and this is just sort of taking a cursory look at the book, there's nothing in here that wasn't in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean, part of the reason I buy like an art book like this is show me the concepts that were used that weren't utilized, that, unused art, unused riddles. My understanding is that the longer cut of the Batman that, there are riddles that they didn't use. So I'm a little disappointed with this Art of the Batman book. That's my 60-second review of this book. If you're thinking about picking it up, not as exciting as I really, because I'll get the Art of Star Wars books and they show concepts that they ended up not using. So many great ideas. I don't mean for myself to be this large. Sorry.
Were the Star Wars art books, the sequels, were they any good?
Yes, at least the Force Awakens.
At least Force Awakens, yeah.
Actually, what's sad about it is the Force Awakens art book is so good. You're like, why didn't they use those ideas?
Yeah, it's all Lucas stuff. That's the thing.
It's all Lucas stuff. It's bad, but Batman was. I don't know if it was. It just had so much potential. So I don't know. I'm not super. I'm sort of mixed on the Batman. I thought Pattinson was very good. I thought Zoe Kravitz was really good. The Penguin was far more interesting than the Riddler, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, he was kind of fleshed out. But real quick, I want to show you something. Bobby Schwartz, who's been on the channel. He's does a lot of artwork and stuff for the Film Threat YouTube channel and for Film Threat. And he made this and posted on his Instagram. And he said it's okay to show this, so check this out. All right, you get the idea.
He animated that?
He animated that and posted it on his Instagram at Dual Animal. Bobby's off he's on a wild vacation right now. But he joined us for our Sonic 2 conversation, if you recall. I don't know how much time more we have with you, Alan, but I really feel like I'm a little, because Alan will do stuff and not talk to me about it to kind of just like get it under the radar. And I know you do it on purpose.
Yeah, ask for forgiveness.
Oh! Well, I feel like you should get a punishment. So if anybody has any ideas for a punishment.
Yeah, how about an embarrassing video until we get to 40K?
Yeah. Oh, I already have it. I have it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the punishment's coming.
But I was thinking, okay, this is going to sound like a weird punishment, but Elon Musk today, he tweeted something, and I, by the way, I'm on Team Elon. I think that if he takes over Twitter, I think it'll be a good thing. I think, more freedom when it comes to discourse, I believe, is a good thing. So there you go. And look, Rave Girl is back for $1.99. Says, hey, Chris and Alan, caught the live stream. Hell yeah. Well, you're not going to a Rave Girl. Stick around. Film philosopher, Spank. I can't keep up with these, with the questions here. Yeah, James Kelly says, Alan must watch Picard season 2.
No.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's
good.
I am so.
Yeah, no, I see the videos about Picard and I'm like, holy crap.
They're ruining Star Trek. Finally,
Yeah, no, it's disheartening, isn't it? It's bad.
I mean, I was there. Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and they just continue to take steps backwards.
The guy says Elon taking over would be a good kick in the teeth for the establishment, and I agree. And I do think that I just want the conversation to be fair. There's so much hypocrisy in the sense that one side will do something and it's okay, and another side does something and it's not okay. And I don't like that. I like a fair fight. I think things should be fair. Yeah, Star Trek is in a sad state, says C. Williams. Spider Geronimo to Star Wreck. Yeah, it's either that or I thought of something better. So Elon Musk, the reason I bring this up is Elon Musk actually tweeted something about because Netflix for the first time lost subscribers, over 200,000 subscribers unsubscribed. So now they're going down. And he just said, what did he say? A comment about the woke mind virus has infected Netflix. And there are a lot of shows that are woke. One of the shows, I'm just going to share screen for a second here on one of my tabs. Wait, I have it here somewhere. Where is it? Is it this? Yes. No, it's a show called He's Expecting. That is a real show.
Oh, no.
It's a
Netflix
series on Netflix. Now, here's what I thought. So it's a show about a man who gives birth to a baby. Now, here's what I think your punishment should be, Alan.
Yeah.
One, you have to watch that show.
Oh, dear God.
You have to watch that show. But on top of that, you have to watch all the other movies where men had babies. And by all of them, I mean there's Junior. There's Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you should have to look at that.
Yeah.
You should watch He's Expecting. And I don't know if a lot of people are gonna remember this one. It's an old school Billy Crystal movie. It's directed by Joan Rivers.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, but
I've seen this movie many times.
Wait, you actually have seen it?
I have seen it. Yes, I've seen the CPR. Yeah, I've seen the CPR scene.
It's the rabbit test. Okay, so when this thing He's Expecting kind of trended on Twitter, I'm like, what the? It looks dumb. Okay, but it's a series, right? But I feel like you should do the top 3 movies where men give birth. You've got Rabbit Test, Junior, and He's Expecting. And that's your punishment.
Isn't Alien technically one of those movies too?
Yes, you can include it as a bonus movie. Look, if you wrote that story, Alan, and look, it'll be we'll talk about it offline. Yeah. But I think it would actually be a funny story. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've seen Rabbit Test. It's very Billy Crystal.
But it's
is that available somewhere?
Who knows? But one of the things we actually are trying to do is we're trying to fill in some legacy movies on the site. Alan, you've been doing a lot of those reviews. Like when King Kong versus Godzilla came out, you reviewed the original and the new one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah. Look, the top 3 movies where men give birth. Please, look. I know it's sort of like clickbaity, and then we can talk about it on the live cast here.
A future episode, yeah.
So wait, Arthur Binnis says there's at least one Quantum Leap episode.
Yes, there is. Yeah, well, I remember that.
There you go. Top 5. Frank Rizzo. Wait, the Frank Rizzo? Frank Rizzo for $1.99 says, Chris, you excited about The Offer on Paramount Plus? Now wait, are you talking about a movie called The Offer? Or are you talking about, is there an offer for Paramount Plus?
I think it's either a movie or a television series, but that sounds familiar.
Well, I'm obviously not excited about it because I don't know about it. But there you go. Ryan Landis says, does Hatching an Egg count? There's a movie that's coming out called Hatching. The director of that movie is going to be on Film Threat. And Robert Eggers on Friday. Robert Eggers, the director of The Northman, will be here Friday, along with 2 other filmmakers, and I forget who they are.
Do you know what films?
I do, but it's in another branding. I'd have to change the branding because I
Oh,
already
okay.
pre-did. I already pre-did like the little things here.
The banners, yeah.
But I want to talk about real quick. I want to get to more. Your comments are hilarious. The offer. It's
Oops.
about the making of The Godfather. Yes, Jeffrey, that sounds awesome. I definitely want to see that doc. Yeah, I
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
yeah. There's another one, a
Is it?
documentary about the making of Fiddler on the Roof that I want to see. This is what a nerd I am.
I think we have that one. I think we have the screener for that.
Oh, we do. And there's another movie that I don't know that we have a review of it. It's a movie called Laddie, Laddie, and it's about the producer Alan Ladd Jr.
Yeah, we reviewed that a few months ago as well.
C. Williams says, Eggers, I'll be here. Got my Northman tickets for tomorrow. So Friday is Eggers, and it's going to be a jam-packed show. So we'll talk about the Northman because maybe we'll get into some spoilers, and then we'll, it's going to be this Friday is going to be crazy. So yeah, so there you go. You guys are talking about Elon in the chat here. But here we go. Ramina Jones says, I quit Netflix a year ago and have no streaming and buy what I want to see. Time and money saved, not spending hours scrolling through mediocrity and agreeing to watch it just because they have it. Well, Ramina, I'm sorry you left because I think I have the next hit Netflix series. Would you like to hear my pitch? Would you like to hear my pitch?
Yeah.
All right, Alan, I'm going to mute you just for mute yourself. Okay. Real quick, because I can hear like some screaming in the background there. Oh, wait, no, okay. So real quick, Ramina, here's my pitch. What do you think of this? There's a show that I started watching. It's called Is It Cake? All right. So it's basically cake, right? And you have like these bizarre objects. It'll be like a stack of cups or like some thing, I don't know, just like all sorts of weird random items, and it's like they look so real you can't tell cake from just a random item. And then it's the guy from SNL, Mikey Day.
Mikey Day, yeah.
Mikey Day, he grabs a knife and then he just cuts it and it's cake. But here's the twist. There are going to be a bunch of random things, and there's going to be, say, like a human head. And some of the human heads are cake, and one of the human heads is a real human head. And someone might die, and it'll be horrifying. Maybe this is something Blumhouse. I should pitch to Blumhouse. Is it cake, but could it be murder? And you might be responsible for murdering someone if you allow Mikey Day to chop the face off. It's actually not cake. It's actually a human head.
We can call it, is it a cadaver?
Yeah. Arthur Binnis has it cake or death. Ramina, what do you think, Ramina? Could that, I've got all sorts of pitches. I have all sorts of pitches for cheesy shows that I think would be fun. God, I had a pitch years ago, actually I worked it out with a buddy of mine. It's not, reality TV is not my thing, but I'm like, well, this is kind of too big to not do. And I pitched it around a story for another day. I actually don't want to get into it too much because I actually want to like represent the pitch in a right way. But yeah, is it dead or alive? Right. Bake or die. Jack the Ripper, piece of cake. I feel like Netflix could do a horror movie kind of with the is it cake as a sort of a part of it, but then people are being murdered. It definitely cake or kill.
Yeah.
Cake or die.
Or even a horror game show of some sort. Some life and death.
Like a horror game. Yes, a horror game show I think would be awesome. But yeah. Alan, how much time do we have? Because I know you got to go.
I've got about 20 minutes. A little over 15 minutes.
Now, Low Watermark is asking RRR review. We did kind of talk about it on the Latino Slant, and we've talked about it. If you look back at our channel, we have a video. I don't know if I want to talk about it again. I mean, real briefly, what is RRR? It is an Indian action movie that is a 3-hour epic that if it is playing in your neighborhood, go see it. It is the most entertaining movie I've seen this year, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's probably, in terms of movies I've seen this year that I've liked the most, it's RRR and The Northman. the two films that I So Ramina Jones says this is for Shudder. Yeah, for sure. I love Shudder. I love the people at Shudder.
Oh,
But,
by the way, about RRR, we're getting murdered in the comments about
why?
RRR
Why?
because
Just because
it's Bollywood.
it's not a Bollywood movie; it's a Tollywood
Yeah.
movie. Look, I'm being educated.
We have been educated. We have been schooled on this one.
We get it. RRR is not Bollywood. Thank you very much. But look, I it's not my area of expertise, Indian cinema. But now that I've seen RRR, I've really come to appreciate it. I just think that it's like, I don't know, it's just so epic. I wanted to see it again for a third time. I was going to go see a 3-hour movie, and it's already out of theaters. I do want to actually go see KGF Chapter 2.
Yeah, I almost went last night to see it.
I think I'll go tonight because it's playing at 10 p.m. at the AMC Burbank 16. If you are in the Burbank area, thinking about going to see it, AMC Burbank 16, I might go to Yard House for a little pre-gaming, but I really want to see it because I want to talk about this movie, KGF. It's part crime movie, like sort of a Scarface, but it's about gold mines in India and people battling over it's crime lords battling. It just looks amazing. And just like RRR, just, testosterone filled action, and I think it's underestimated how much people just assume that like only men love action movies. That's not true. I really believe that the rise of Marvel movies really is because it's beefcake. It's shirtless male characters from the Marvel universe, which is a trope. We actually did a video on our channel. If you look, shirtless Avengers, or I think topless Avengers.
Yeah, topless Avengers.
Topless Avengers. If you look on our YouTube channel and just do a search, you'll see we did a whole compilation of all the characters that went topless in Marvel movies, right? Like, look, we want to see attractive people in movies, right? Male or female, right? Like, I want to work out so I can have a chest and a stomach like Beam and Ram. I'm not, look, I do my best. But I cannot recommend RRR enough. And I don't want, it's so like visceral and just so violent. And also it has so much humanity. It's so relatable. It's everything that Hollywood isn't doing now, unfortunately. Hollywood is just sort of, And
it's not apologizing for the fact that there are two beefcake men starring in this movie,
beating the crap out of each other as well as other people. And I mean,
now white people don't make it out so well in the movie.
The white people do very poorly, but I like the I love the villains in this. I love the villains because they all have British accents. So it just sort of takes me back to Star Wars, right? All the Imperials were Brits, right? Chilling British evil. Like it's great. It's
Grand Moff Tarkin.
You can't have a great hero without a great villain, and the villains in RRR are fantastic. Let's go to the chat. This is the thing that's really disappointing me about RRR is so few have seen it, right? So there you go. Yeah, RRR for sure. Like it's just I mean, AMC has been really good about, I can always go there and know that there's a foreign film being played at AMC. And they've been doing this for years. Especially when ScarJo didn't go topless, but Black Widow was sexy. She had the skin tight black outfit with the heels. Like she was sexy. And there's totally what they're doing now is desexualizing all characters in movies. I don't know why people like characters that are sexy, male and or female, whatever. Just give us sexy characters. People want that. I really believe that the reason there is such a large female fan base for Marvel movies is because of the attractive men. For the women in the chat, like, tell me, if you're a Marvel fan, part of it is, look, Chris Evans comes out of that thing and every woman's vagina explodes when that happens. Like during that moment, it's crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Look, exactly. RMFX, the male gaze equals evil. You can do the female gaze. Hey, we all gaze. It's
Yeah.
fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Arthur Binnis says pendulums have a tendency to swing.
Absolutely.
I think they're going to. I just want to celebrate really good cinema, and that's not being made in the United States right now. I just did this video that I always do videos for other channels that get huge views, and then we struggle here.
I know why. We've had this discussion for a long time.
Well, I feel like, you know, so I did a video for Film Courage about the death of American cinema, that the idea of making an American movie that is American, that we can all get behind and celebrate. Hollywood cannot make that anymore.
No, we have to be the bad guy in movies.
We have to be the bad guys and whatever. Wait, someone had a good comment here about, oh yeah, Jack D. Ripper. Yeah, Under the Skin, great movie. Own it on digital. That's a fantastic. Spicy Octopus. Black Widow was unaware, sexy, apparently. The name RRR didn't help the movie. The Sound of One Man Laughing. Yeah, it's fine. I actually don't even care what that movie's called. It's amazing. You know, it's so good. B-roll. Okay, this is the comment I was looking for. Decolonize in our moment of triumph. Yeah, it's great. Like all those. Yeah, and Jack D. Ripper says more white people die than in Django Unchained. Yeah, no, it's all the white people are the villains. It's set in the 1920s, and it's
it's contextual. I mean,
yeah, India at that time's a British colony. So let me know when you got to go, Alan. I don't want to keep you.
Yeah, I got about 10 more minutes.
Another video. You're doing another live stream where you're out having fun, and I'm here.
Yeah. Well, we may be doing this again next week. So,
are you kidding me? For what movie?
I'll be at. It's still. I'm 90% sure I'll be at San Francisco Film Festival next week.
All right, fine. Sound of One Man Laughing says hello, Alan and Chris. Hello back.
Hey, Sound of One Man Laughing.
Sound of One Man Laughing. Remember Jewish themed films? I do. Fiddler on the Roof. It's a great movie that I saw growing up. It may or may not hold up. Called Lies My Father Told Me. Another great, I love ethnic movies. I just do. Because I don't care about forced diversity. I think whenever I see forced diversity, I'm like, oh, that's a stupid Hollywood movie. I'd rather just see a movie that is authentically from the culture. Like I was talking to Paulie at Latino Slant, and he recommended a movie that I see he recommended a movie called El Chicano. It's basically the Latino Batman. I am going to see that movie. It came out in 2018. It's available, I believe, on Apple TV Plus or just whatever. It's iTunes.
Yeah.
But I like ethnic movies that are, just purely about the culture. That's why it's like Shang-Chi is such a weird film in the sense that Shang-Chi is like a movie made in America by white people starring Asians for the Chinese market. And then
I have to defend that. First, written and directed by Chinese Americans. The movie you really should be mad at is Mulan.
True.
I mean, that is the quintessential white person making an Asian movie and China not caring about it. Shang-Chi, I mean, honestly, for me, it just hit all the right notes as an Asian American. Having grown up as a Chinese American, everything about Shang-Chi just really resonated with me. But Mulan, oh my God. Mulan is the worst.
Mulan is yeah. I mean, the original, and what's so funny is the original cartoon is actually very good. But
it's great.
It's great, but like Shang-Chi, it was fine. It was okay. I enjoyed it. It was like, okay, it's entertaining, but I just felt there was something. I feel like I've seen other epic Asian cinema that was better than Shang-Chi.
Yeah, but the thing
Shaolin
is,
Soccer. You ever seen Shaolin Soccer, the Shaw Brothers?
I haven't. It's on my list to see, but I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, that's
with my setup here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crazy Rich Asians. But I feel like Crazy Rich Asians was about it was about the culture divide, which I thought was very, very well handled.
Yeah,
it was about I don't know what your thoughts are on Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say this. The problem with Asian cinema in America is that it's always imported. It was always brought in from China. Jackie Chan came in from China, and they did And so that was their way of saying, hey, we did Asian movies. But the thing is, there's a lot of us Asian Americans who don't have movies. And that's why I think Shang-Chi resonated more than Mulan did. That's why I think we liked Shang-Chi so much more, and Crazy Rich Asians, because those were essentially Asian American films. And, it's great to see my experience up on screen, which doesn't happen a lot. Rarely happens, I should say.
Well, you know what they say. You want to see yourself in the movie.
No, I want to see my experience. I want to see my experience in the movie. I don't,
well, there's a distinction
because they're just gonna bring in more Jackie Chan, Chow Yun Fat, whatever. They're just gonna import actors from overseas rather than hire us Asians who are living in the United States and trying to get acting gigs.
That's a fair point. B-Roll says Shaolin Soccer is pretty good. Kung Fu Hustle is far better.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yes, Barbara Lawrence says Kung Fu Hustle is the greatest. And so there you go. A lot of great comments in here. Avalon was a great, deep Jewish movie. Sarah says, ugh, Mulan 1988 was more gender bending and insightful, but how hard it is to meet expectations as a man or woman. Mulan 2020 just gave one girl she superpowers. So, yeah,
absolutely.
True.
It didn't explore really the women's issues that the original Mulan did.
But I what do you want? A girl worth fighting. Come on, that's a good song, Alan. Come on.
I know, it's a great song.
Want Biscuits says Alan is right regarding Asian movies. Makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Fletcher Williams says, but seeing red, Alan, is it not? No, it's Turning Red, right?
Turning Red, yeah.
Turning Red. There you go.
Well, I mean, but Turning Red is a teen movie. That's what I'll say about it.
Yeah. Oh, and Replacement Killers. Yes. Chow Yun Fat. Thank you, Solomon Thornton, for that comment.
Yeah. But that's my point exactly. It's an American film. They imported the actor. As great as Chow Yun Fat is, as great as Jackie Chan is, again, that's just leaving the entire Asian American community out of the film.
I met him once in was it the early 2000s? I met him at a screening, and a friend of mine has a Chow Yun Fat tattoo on his leg and showed it to Chow Yun Fat. And I was there, and it was the weirdest thing ever.
He probably thought it was crazy and insane.
He's much taller than you think. I thought he was very, very intimidating, but there you go. Alan, I know you got to go.
Yeah.
Here you go. Wait a sec. Quick super chat here for $5 from Sharon C. Thank you for that. Thank you for the support. Would getting Tarantino to not stop at 10 help Hollywood not be so mediocre? Content in quotes. I am so bored by so much. Bland is the norm now. Sharon, I agree with you. Bland, it's sort of bland. We're like, this is just content. Like, well, I have spent 2 hours watching this, but I don't feel different from it. I don't feel changed. I don't feel like I have new insights into the world. And I feel like RRR really blew my mind, which is why I wanted to see it a third time in the theaters. I'm really sad that it's not. But I feel fortunate that the AMC Burbank 16, where I've been, for the last, since late last year, been going every week once I got on A-list, they've been showing so much great stuff. Spanish language films, Indian movies. They show them kind of at weird times, though. It'll be like 2 p.m, but it's not in the evening, but whatever.
See, you have an AMC 16. We have an AMC 30. That's a lot of screens. That's a lot of screens, and it's getting filled up by a lot of foreign and international films, which is great. I tend to go to those at least once or twice a month.
Well, I'll share a little something with you real quick, Alan. I know you just got maybe 5 minutes. Please don't go. But I went to a burlesque show that you're not going to believe it. I went to a burlesque show recently, and I think it's coming back, and it's called Tarantino. And it is burlesque dancers dancing to Tarantino music. And here, I don't know, I've just got a short clip. I'm just going to run a little bit of this just for your enjoyment, just because you brought up Quentin Tarantino. Oh, and there's so much more to see of that clip. I'm not going to play the whole thing. But it's a burlesque show called Tarantino, and Tarantino actually ended up attending it and checking it out. So, but it was burlesque dancing inspired by, with both male and female dancers, inspired by Tarantino movies. And it was freaking awesome. I've also seen a burlesque show inspired by Star Wars called The Empire Strips Back.
Where are you seeing these things?
I'm on the list for a lot of things.
I mean, where are those shows being done?
Turo, it's not a dude. I was there. And yeah, Spider Geronimo, X-Ray Girl. Yeah, is it X-Ray Girl? I don't know. I'm not gonna do the whole. The Spider could be. I don't know. Maybe I should give that clip to Perry Chan to check it out. So, and Patrick Lemire says needs more feet to be authentic Tarantino. But look, and so this is interesting. Getting back to the Netflix thing, Netflix was eventually going to run ads. That's way too much money to leave on the table. Bound to happen sooner or later.
They're still talking about it. It could happen. It could happen still.
Oh
that would be the worst.
Yeah. I don't know.
How do you attract subscribers? You put ads in the commercial.
No, that's not. I'm not. Well, that's only just to get people to sign up. Latino Slant. Subscribe to Paulie's channel, Latino Slant. That is a reminder, Paulie. We had a great live stream. Just almost. This is why I was like a couple minutes late.
Yeah, I do have to get going now.
Okay, cool. So, Alan, any final words as you're taking off and leaving me by myself again?
Well, good luck. Just keep talking. I'll clip it and I'll post it.
All right, and just remember, my channel is under attack. What I want to do, here's what I'll do. I'll pose with an actual tack, and I'll pose like this, and it's like my channel is under attack, just because I think those. Okay, that's lame. All right, Alan. Hey, have fun seeing the movie. Yeah. We'll talk about it on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll see
later.
You
Bye. All right, Alan. It's just us now. It's just us. So I'm really just gonna have a conversation with all of you. I might tease you with a couple more videos here. One of the videos, I don't know if everybody's seen it yet, but I'll just run it again because it's a fun video. I talk about a lot of movies that have subtitles. I talk about a lot of films that have subtitles, and I know some people are not a real fan of movies with subtitles. So I'm just gonna say that subtitles or some of the themes of indie movies kind of get in the way. But here's something that I think that we could all learn a little something from. A little PSA.
So cool up here in the balcony.
Totally. Hey, what's this about this movie being in another language?
Yeah, you have to read what they're saying?
Sounds pretty weird. I'm gonna go get some popcorn.
Okay.
Excuse me, sorry. You are precious.
Subtitles. They're not just un-American, they kill.
Something that I think is useful information. Here's another one that I think that would, I don't know. I think it speaks for itself.
Banana split, that's perfect.
Totally. Hey, let's go in here.
Don't kid around.
What, are you chicken?
Back! No.
It's over. We lost the farm.
Cancer? Oh.
Unhappy ending? I'll say.
You know, it's our focus here at Film Threat, talking about independent films. So I feel like it's important that you be properly warned. You need to be warned about what some of the risks are. And you need to drink in our reviews.
Ah, the smooth, cool taste of a great film threat. I love it. Perfect. Tastes so film thready.
All right, fine. I was at a convention. I snuck in a case of Coors Light. Don't ask how. I was putting Film Threat stickers on it and just handing out Coors Lights to people. It happens to the best of us. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But I don't know. I kind of grew up watching movies with subtitles, so it's never bothered me. And I think also with the it's interesting what you will learn when you turn the closed captioning on while you're watching either a TV show or a movie. I learned so much about Game of Thrones when I turned the closed captioning on, including the names of like minor characters. You'd actually see their name on screen. So I don't know. I felt it to be very useful. And Ryan Landa says it's not Coors, it's Kurtz Light. Yeah, that makes sense. And Fletcher Williams says independent films are not to be played with. True. I agree. So Fletcher Williams says, Chris Gore breaking several California laws in that video. Maybe a little bit. I mean, I was at because I know that like when I've gone to conventions before, like I was at the Phoenix Comic-Con when that thing happened. I don't know, I just snuck it in because I noticed a lot of dealers. These are guys that like all day they're selling t-shirts or they're selling action figures or comics. And in a little bit in the late afternoon, you just see a little, and you'd see some sort of like, they'd have one of those like koozies. So they'd stick their drink in a koozie. And I noticed that a lot of the dealers, not just at that convention, I can't point out like Phoenix Comic-Con alone, they were drinking stuff. So Jinx asks, are you enjoying 420, Chris? I am not. Here's the thing. I'm not a 420 guy. And I'll tell you, although I do have something here from my buddy Chris Parnowski from Titmouse sent me this. It is, when he sent this to me, I didn't know what this was. I now know what it is. You flip it, which I didn't even know. And it's sort of what they call, it was explained to me. It's a one hitter. And we just got demonetized just for me showing that. I'm sure that's what happened. But I love the whole concept of 420. I like a crowdsourced holiday in the sense that we just sort of decided like, hey, that should be something that's celebrated. So I love it. But I think it's because I grew up in a household where nobody smoked at all. And because of that, because I wasn't around people who smoked, I'm kind of actually really sensitive to cigarette smoke. It's like, it really like to the point where this is going to sound, if I'm in Vegas and I'm around, it's impossible to not be around cigarette smoke. I will actually take my clothes off in the hallway and leave them out there and take a shower before I go to bed because I don't like that my clothes smell like smoke because I have very sensitive sinuses. You knew when you signed up, you were going to get in for an interesting conversation. So having said that, have I had a brownie or two or a cookie? Yes. Have I had a gummy? Yes. So I'm not a fan of the cigarettes or the smoking part, but there are many different ways to enjoy today. And that's all I'll say. So yeah, RMFX says smoke gives me earaches. Yeah, I feel like I have a hypersensitivity to smoke only because I wasn't around it as a kid, right? Like I just like zero. And it wasn't until later that I was around, I had friends who smoked and whatever. I don't care. I feel like you do whatever you want to do. So there you go. Oh, wait, for $25, super chat, The Art of the Real. Do you watch the Call Me Chato channel? I don't. And now I feel bad for not knowing about that channel. I need to go to that channel for $25. Thank you. I'm always looking for recommendations. for channels, because as we talked about earlier, as soon as a channel kind of goes down the rabbit hole of like the channel becomes about the channel, I just like, I want the channel to be about conversation about the topic. When the channel becomes about the channel, I'm not so sure how I feel about that. Having said that, I'm going to show you a little preview because we're just hanging out. This is the hanging out stream. We're going to have reviews on Friday. We're going to have Robert Eggers and then a couple of other filmmakers. Fridays are packed show. This is just the raw Gore after hours. Yeah, that's what this is. I'm going to show you a little something we've been working on for years, a documentary about Film Threat. Many of you don't know that Film Threat started as a fanzine back in 1985. It was literally a Xeroxed fanzine. I was a teenager, a kid when I started this thing. And then it, it evolved into a print magazine, kind of an underground fanzine. And then it was acquired by Larry Flint of Larry Flint Publications. You can look it up. And what's funny is there's a whole bunch of people that are watching this that don't even know who Larry Flint is. Maybe that's a good thing. Who knows? But Film Threat kind of had this sort of rise in print and fall, was in print, the Xerox fanzine and the magazine through about 1997. And the magazine went away. And I always talked about like bringing it back to print, but really it's evolved into, it's a website. I mean, filmthreat.com. You can go there right now. You can check out, we post about between 3 to 5 reviews daily from mostly about independent films, but also the major movies as well. But at the time we did a lot of crazy stuff back in the day. One of the things we did, you're going to have to give me a second here. You're going to see the back of my head for just a second. I got to find some old issues of Film Threat magazine. This is what it looked like back in the day. This was Film Threat. Some old issues. If you can find these and you can find them used for sale on like, I don't know, on eBay, you'll find them. It was a print magazine back in the day. Many of you don't know that, right? So here we would try to cover topics. This is like when Jurassic Park came out, and then Roger Corman was also making a dinosaur movie called Carnosaur, and I was on the set for that, which was bizarre. This is Richard Linklater, Dazed and Confused. We did a cover story on it. Back in the day, we did a story about Howard Stern and Fart Man and the development of that movie, which he always talked about Fart Man being made. But one of the things we also did, we did a photo shoot with Tracy Lords, who I became friends with back in the day. She actually signed this. You see, I haven't opened this. I haven't opened this in years. Let's do this. And I'll tell stories about Film Threat. Maybe now's not the best time, but here it is. And follow Tracy Lords. We follow each other both on Twitter and Instagram. She's a sweetheart. And she says, to my old buddy, Chris Gore, love you, baby, Tracy Lords. So she signed this. We did a story. We talked about, obviously we talked about, well, when John Waters' Crybaby came out, we covered that. And she was in that with Johnny Depp, oddly enough. But we did a story on the stars on the Walk of Fame. That's what this story was about. We wanted to do like a kind of a fun photo shoot. And the stars on the Walk of Fame, come to find out, there's so many things that like broke my reality when I came out from Michigan to come to Hollywood and see like that most stuff is just kind of bullshit. One of the things I learned is that at the time that this article came out in the early 90s, you could just buy a star on the Walk of Fame. It required 2 things. One, you had to get enough signatures, which I think was about between 5,000 and 5,000, 10,000 signatures, something like that. So you had to get signatures. Then you had to give a gift of like 5 or 10 grand to the Hollywood City Council, right? Or excuse me, was it the Chamber of Commerce or the City Council? I haven't read my magazine in a long time that I did. I don't know all that stuff. But in any case, we did the photo shoot, and we had Tracy Lords come in, and here is a short video. We shot some VHS video of Tracy Lords on the set, doing this photo shoot. So here it is.
Incriminating, actually.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I should have had you come and paint this. But yeah, the L, it kind of looks like Laverne and Shirley. Reminds me of kind of 70s. But it'll be good. It'll be good.
So, okay, so that was just some footage that we keep unearthing weird footage. The documentary that we're doing on Film Thread is kind of set in the 90s. It's like a period piece. And by the way, and I'm gonna quick. The Art of the Real says the Call Me Chado channel is hosted by former network executive. Yes, I already subscribed to that channel. Yes, his name is Paul, right? His first name is Paul, and he was on Midnight's Edge. Yes, I have seen his videos. They're great, and he has a lot of great insight. So I didn't know what the channel was called. I just subscribed to it. But thank you for that. The Art of the Real. That was awesome. So Patrick Lemire says, I remember my record store carrying Film Thread. It was the go-to for film. Forced Exposure, go-to for music. I used to read Forced Exposure all the time. I read all that stuff. I mean, that's kind of what inspired me to do Film Thread, is that there were all these, music magazines that I loved. God, there were so many good ones. There was, I don't know. There was Forced Exposure. There was Maximum Rock and Roll. There were a lot of like skate punk zines. Yeah, it was great. So yeah, so there's little clips here and there, and I might leak some more clips. I don't want to get too much into it. I'm working with Ethan Minskers, the director of that film, and we're looking at, fingers crossed, submitting to a film festival at some point later this year, and hopefully premiere at a film festival in 2023. This movie's a long way off, folks. It's like a year away, but I may talk a little bit about Film Thread and kind of just give you my take here and there. JNNX says $37,000. Is that 37 grand? Is that now what it costs for a star on the Walk of Fame? Because you ever notice when they do the little star on the Walk of Fame, it always ties into like someone has a movie that's coming out or a TV show that's launching, or like it's always the timing is very suspicious. It's always someone's getting a star on the Walk of Fame and their movie is opening. Like it's always like tied to some thing. So I don't know, but in that in the article in that cover story with Tracy Lords, we talked about like a bunch of the people on the Hollywood Walk of Fame where like you wouldn't know like who they are. It was just Film Threat magazine, once I moved to Hollywood, kind of became about me being, just disenchanted and disenfranchised with what my perception of what Hollywood was and my perception of how Hollywood worked and then how it actually worked. And there's some shocking video that's going to be in this documentary that I don't know. I can't wait for you all to see it. So there you go. HVP says, Chris looks like he's wearing a disguise in that video. That's because the video is from 30 years ago, but I still had that sort of nasally Michigan accent. And Rave Girl says, young Chris Gore, OMG, so cute. All right, of course I'm going to post that comment. So there you go. Melodic Method says, ugh, marketing. I get it. Yeah. Odenkirk got one, says Jack D. Ripper. Yeah, Bob Odenkirk. Yeah, I look, at this point, it really is like the criteria is sort of like, can you get a number of signatures of people who are fans of that person? Oh, the other criteria was, so you've got to get a certain number of signatures. You have to give like this gift of money, and then you have to have volunteers who will clean the star. So there you go. And look, Ingtopia, that's Alan's channel, which I don't know if I can recommend Alan's channel here. Ingtopia says, we're seated in the theater. By the way, Alan, if you're watching, movie's not going to start for another 10 minutes. Movies always start late. Ryan Landis says, did you have a pager back then, Chris? Ryan Landis, I never had a pager. I didn't get a cell phone until the late 90s, and it was one of those mobile, it was a Motorola flip phone. That was my first one. And then the next phone I got that I thought was the coolest thing ever, and guess what? I still have it. A Moto Q with the keyboard. And then I got a Razor. there you go. So DJ Khaled got one, case closed. People are talking about, you know what I gotta do? I gotta have a different drink for when I'm drinking. I'm just drinking water with lemon. These are lemons picked from my girlfriend has a lemon tree in her backyard, and these are actually lemons from that tree. So, but I gotta drink stuff that's not carbonated because yeah. Bill Hicks nailed how I feel about the marketing industry, says Jinx. So, yeah, and didn't Tracy Lords also do one of the songs for the Mortal Kombat movie? I think maybe the Liu Kang versus Reptile fight, says Sailor Mercury. Yeah, I believe she did. I mean, she's done like club music and stuff. She's just like, what I admired most about her is she's just a real person. We also worked together on a television show. You can find clips of this. They're going to start to be rumors about she and I at this point, since I'm gushing about Tracy Lords. We should get her on. She's made some films. We should get her on the show. Who wants to see Tracy Lords on the Film Threat live cast? I mean, I'm sure I could just DM her and ask her. She has started making films. She made a short film. And she also, we were on a show together called Ultimate Film Fanatic. She was on the show and it was great. So Jinx says she also worked with Lords of Acid. So yeah, so we will get Tracy Lords. You know, we're always looking for, you know, suggestions of people we should have on the show. You know, we're probably not going to get necessarily the big stars, but they're big stars to me. Tracy Lords is a huge star to me, you know, just having followed her from the beginning. Yeah, that's right. She was in Blade. That's right, man. She's in Blade. She was in Crybaby with Johnny Depp. I love it. That's kind of how I met her. And she's just an awesome, normal person. She is happily married and continues to do all sorts of great creative work. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So we will get here. We're going to start. Maybe what we should do is do like a thing where we can just sort of, if I could, we'll get a list together of the people that you'd like to see. And I'll assess for you. Like, I think we can get this person, like say a Larry Fessenden, but I'm not sure we can get, you know, like I know that there's some people I can definitely get and some people maybe I could get if I asked, you know, we'll see. But yeah, no, she's a well-adjusted just person, Tracy Lords. So yeah. And I'm sure she would tell you that she's on here. We have exchanges on social media, you know, via the gram and the Twitters, but I'm not so much on Twitter I'm not on Twitter all that much. So there you go. Joe Bob Briggs got Roger Corman just saying, yeah, I don't know. Can you get Alan Ing? I think I can get Alan Ing. But look, at the beginning of the show, I was actually, when I saw that, I just don't want the Film Threat YouTube channel to kind of devolve into like the clickbaity stuff, the gossipy stuff. Even though we do, you know, talk about stuff like that as it relates to movie, it's important to note. I think what's happening now with Ezra Miller is really interesting because, you know, how does that affect, you know, the Flash franchise, DC movies? How does, you know, like within Fantastic Beasts, it's clear his character was either cut down or they kind of, it just seemed weird. He seemed shoehorned in. It was very odd. Get the guys from Red Letter Media, says Jake Hansen. First of all, I would love that. They don't need to do my show. I mean, they have over 1 million subscribers. Red Letter Media, you know, every one of their, you know, videos gets 500,000, 800,000 views. They don't need me. I'd love to be on their show at some point. I just don't know. I feel like I've got like different movie knowledge. They really take these deep dives, and I'm like, I know a lot about a Pixel Vision movie. Like you know, I don't know. Can you get Mike and Jay and or Rich? It would be great is just get Rich. Just get Rich. That would be fun. But I've heard they did Macaulay Culkin's podcast, and I listened to an interview that he did with them that I thought was really interesting. But those guys are they're pretty private, and I respect that. You know, but I have to say, like, during the lockdown, the jokes that they did about the the pandemic, it was better comedy than what was being done on SNL. Like, it was just like, so, I mean, first of all, that's a low bar. So maybe my apologies for saying that could be taken as an insult, but they were there's this one video, I forget which one it was, where Mike is like removing and putting the mask back on and removing it and putting it on and putting two masks on and Jay is just going through. So Jay, oh God, I got to remember like what, cause I sent that video to so many people and it was so hilarious because, Jay is going through like just reading what the rules are. Like if you go to Walmart, it's this. If you go to Target, it's this. If you're outdoors, it's this. And he was literally going through all of the posted real like rules about masking. And Mike kept like taking his mask off and putting it back on, and they would reverse, you know, the video. And it was so dumb and hysterical. So there you go. Yeah. Patrick Lemire, SNL took 2 years to mock the CDC. Yeah, it's disheartening. And Rave Girl says SNL, a shell of itself. I don't know what it is. They just need to do a purge of like, a lot of it is like, you know, everyone's hiring for one kind of diversity these days. And by the one kind of diversity, I mean, it's like they want people of different ethnic types and groups and this and whatever. And we, you know, and part of that is a good thing. That's a good thing. But what the kind of diversity they're not looking for is people who just think differently, or maybe someone who didn't go to Harvard. Just because you went to an Ivy League school doesn't mean you're fucking funny, because I can tell you right now, those degrees or from whence you came, writing staff of SNL, the worst ever. I mean, it's just, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Gabriel says, yeah, it feels like funnier than SNL has just become a meme template at this point. There's so much that's funnier than a lot of stuff I see on YouTube is funnier than SNL. The stuff that Kyle Dunnigan's doing with Kurt Metzger and Kurt Metzger's channel too. I mean, that stuff is just the Kyle Dunnigan stuff with Joe Biden is SNL at its best would have done that, where he does these deep fakes. Shout out to Kyle Dunnigan, who has no idea who the hell I am. You know, he doesn't know who I am. I've never, you know, I don't know. I just, you know, my friend group is very diverse in the sense of like, when I have like friend gatherings, it's people of all ages. It's people of very different backgrounds. It's very, very, Melodic Method backing me up. Dunnigan stuff is amazing. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, most things on YouTube is funnier than SNL, says Barbara Lawrence. True. Kyle Dunnigan is killer, says Jack D. Ripper. It's the stuff that's on there now. It's just it's weird that like the cheers are for things about politics that, hey, my politics align with this joke. I'm gonna cheer for that. That doesn't mean it's funny. They should be making fun of all sides. When they only mock one side, it makes me feel sad. It makes me feel like the people who work at SNL have never met someone, you know, who might wear a red hat, right? Like, and that makes me sad. It means that you haven't broadened your group of friends to be truly inclusive. I'm just dropping all the words that corporate America loves to hear. All those, yeah. Oh, and Jack D. Ripper also says Dunnigan's Pete Davidson and Kim K video was hysterical. Yeah. So subscribe to that channel. And in JC, it's the problem with having an agenda you have to push. It does make me think, are there other like, and I don't want to get conspiracy theorist on this, because conspiracy theory is just a thing that was made up to kind of actually discredit certain theories. But yeah, it makes me wonder, where is this all coming from, and why is social engineering via entertainment such a priority rather than making money, which is what Hollywood used to be about. It's so funny to watch a Hollywood film from 10 years ago and how dramatically different it is from the current day. Now, it doesn't mean that there were not themes in previous Hollywood films that, you know, had sort of woke elements, but it was never done with an agenda in mind, meaning you're bad if you don't think this way, or this is where you have to stand on this issue. That element wasn't in place. I'm thinking about, for example, Dances with Wolves, which I love that film. I don't know. I love that film. It's a great score. The musical score for that's amazing. It's basically, I mean, James Cameron liked it so much he made Avatar effectively, is inspired by both Dances with Wolves and Dune, actually, source material. But yeah, it makes me think that how is this agenda so prevalent that you need to show fealty to that agenda? Meaning you need to, if you're an actor or even a filmmaker, you've got to show in some social media sense that you're down with what the current thing is. So you have to, express that in some way, whether it's via some social media post or an ill-informed opinion, or you have to do something to show that you're down with it, right? That you're on board. And anyone who isn't is ostracized, right? You get actors who are vocal about maybe where they stand and they're mocked. And I don't know that that's, maybe mock people necessarily for their actions, not necessarily, but some of these opinions are just so ill-informed. It's being part of the in crowd, says JC. So Infinite Bane, how does Pete Davidson get so many hot women? He must be gifted. That's the rumor. I don't talk too much about gossipy stuff just because I don't know a lot of stuff, and I like to I can tell you my opinion on a topic, but when it comes to gossipy stuff, it's there's something about it. I'd rather not know about the personal lives of celebrities at all. Jinx says, I miss movies like Brazil. Yeah. Brazil is a great example. Oh my God, that movie is just I wonder if it holds. It's so over the top and ridiculous, but yeah, that's something I'll have to revisit that. So, Dearest, if I've said that right, dearest, if you mock people for what they say or how they express themselves, they will just have resentment. Try and find out why and make them think. Yeah, or at least try to begin a conversation, because if you're going to defend a position, you should be informed about it, right? Harlan Ellison very famously taught me once. I knew Harlan Ellison back in the day. He just said, not everyone has a right to an opinion, right? You only have your right to an informed opinion. And what I see a lot of people in Hollywood talking about is things they don't know about. This is something Ricky Gervais talked about. He talked about that, that most of the people in Hollywood talking about things don't actually know what they're talking about at all. So yeah, I know, weird. And so when I see that, especially when, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but, a particular bill in Florida, I think, was misrepresented intentionally. And it's again, another thing to contribute to the divide. And that's something I want to avoid doing. On my personal social media, if you follow me on Twitter, I try to at least say things that kind of begin a conversation or make people think. And I don't tell you what to think or necessarily how to think, but I would just say something to kind of encourage you to think about this thing I've just said, come to your own conclusion. So your conclusion should be reached by you. And there's no way I should be telling you what to do or how to think exactly. And if you don't think my way, you're a bad person. That I don't like that. Rave Girl, thank you again for the $4.99, says Jim Carrey was right. Hollywood is not the cool kids anymore. They lost the plot a long time ago, and they have lost control of the narrative. 100%. They used to be the cool kids. It's really sad. And Dearest says the Florida bill is being misrepresented, similar to the National Healthcare Act, aka Obamacare. Yeah, so much of what's in the media is being represented, and so many stories are presented a certain way. So they're presented a certain way, and then it's how it's couched, right? Or it's how it's the narrative is more important than the facts at this point. So there you go. Romina Jones says, and thank you for all your insights, Romina. My grandmother and I had different tastes in film in the 80s. Why would that be any different today? Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, there you go. Comedy movies died in 2016. Ghostbusters, says Spider Geronimo. Yeah, I went to see that movie in the theater. I saw the 2016 Ghostbusters. I was in a theater with opening night with about 10 paying customers, watched the movie, and I was like, okay, I've heard a lot of things. I'm the eternal optimist. So you'll see a lot of people talking trash about a film before it comes out. I try not to do that. I try to be like open-minded. I'm like, I'm going to go see it. It's like, because I also really like Kristen Wiig. I really like most of the actors in that movie. I like them. So I want it to be good. And it was just unwatchable, awful. Yeah. JCS, have you seen I'm Gonna Get You Sucker? Not only have I seen it, I saw it in the theater. That's a late 90s cheesy comedy that I quite love. The kind of comedy that you can't make today. Want Biscuit says it's not news, just propaganda. Most of it, at least. Sports is probably the worst offender. Yeah, when I watch sports, I'll watch it at a sports bar. I will go to a sports bar. The 35er in Pasadena is one. There's where else do I go in the area? Yard House. I just want to, and when you're in a loud bar, not only can you not hear the commercials, you kind of just are seeing the play-by-play. That's all I care about. When it gets to the other stuff, I don't care about the post show. I don't need someone to kind of feed me context. No athlete post a game has ever given much of an intelligent interview. I used to make fun of, watching the NFL, you would always see, this doesn't happen so much now, but back in the day, watch the NFL, I would count the number of times that people said, I tell you what. And I also think that they'd say, I tell you what, then they'd kind of get to a point, but they would say, I tell you, which is an unnecessary thing to say. If you're an athlete that just got off the football field, you won the game, I tell you what. We had like, I tell you what. I feel like what that is a mental pause for the athlete to kind of think of something to say because they just, did something spectacular on the field of play, are exhausted. They want to take a shower and get the hell out of there. They probably have family, friends, girlfriend, whatever to hang out with. I tell you what, go back and you'll see how many times that's uttered. Like it's a phrase that is sort of like I'm going to pause for a second because I need to think. I need to catch myself. And that's I used to, first of all, by the way, I used to have every single Super Bowl on VHS, including the commercials. I bought from a guy on eBay years ago. I'm going to have them transferred to digital. And what's interesting is how unsophisticated the presentation was. But yeah, Want Biscuit. HVP $2 says, unleash Mini Gore. Wait, you mean this? I'm going to stop cam for a second. That's Mini Gore right there. That's me if I were a pop figure, which I guess now you can get made. You can get made as a pop figure these days. So you know what I'm getting? I'm getting to the point where I really need Alan as the co-host here. So I'm getting to the point where I got to run to the bathroom. And I don't know, do I stop for 2 minutes and run to the bathroom? What do I do, folks? Are you going to stick around? You're going to leave? I don't know. Can I tell you a story? Real quick story. I am a mutant. I am a mutant. I don't know if I'm capable of joining Xavier's Academy, but I was born with one kidney, which is extremely rare. And I urinate 3 times more than the average person. And I found this out because I told my doctor, I said, I urinate a lot. Like I need to know, like I can't watch a 2-hour movie without running to the bathroom. And he said, look, just keep track of like when you urinate and how much. So me being a nerd, I did a whole spreadsheet. This is like in the late 90s. I did a spreadsheet and I just wrote in like the time and the number of ounces. And I did that for like a week. I took it to my doctor. He looked at it. He's like, oh my God. He goes, you urinate 3 times more than the average person. This isn't normal. Like something might be wrong with you. So I went to a urologist and they did an ultrasound on my gut. And this is exactly what the doctor said. Okay. The doctor is going through with the ultrasound. He's seeing my insides and he asks me, he says, have you ever been in a car accident? I said, thankfully, no, I've never been in a car accident. Then he asks me, have you ever been to Mexico? I said, I actually have never been to Mexico. He says, I can't find your other kidney. Make of that what you will. Someone might have to explain half of that joke to you, but I have one larger kidney, and it's kind of like my guts are kind of differently arranged in my, so I don't know. Is it a superpower? I guess if I were going to be an X-Men, the part of the X-Men, hopefully they keep it the X-Men. I don't know. What are they going to call it? X-people, mutants? They're going to change it. You know, Marvel's going to change it. So there you go. Yes, dearest, but you would have a scar. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Chad kidney. That's what I got right there. It's cigar shaped. So I told my mom, like, hey, like, just so you know, like, I only have one kidney. My mom bursts out crying on the phone when I explained to her how I only have one kidney, as if she's responsible for why I only have one kidney. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, make clips for this situation. I think I have a clip. I could show that's a little over a minute. I could run, and I'm just going to show this clip because we haven't really talked about Star Wars all that much on this stream. We haven't talked about Star Wars, and I don't know if this is only 30 seconds. Will you stick around if I run and come back? Okay. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to show you this video, 30 seconds. Let's see how fast, I'll see how fast. Okay.
We'll always be with you. No one's ever really gone.
You shall not think you are greater than the Gungans.
Okay. All right. Wait. All right. Okay. Can I just say this? Now I know why they call it a live stream. That was, you know, there you go. Thank you for sticking around for that. I hope you enjoyed that. That was edited by Bobby Schwartz. I think we posted that on our YouTube channel. Just you know, because if you remember that trailer, someone else laughs at the end, and that was Boss Nass. But Boss Nass, I think it's Boss Nass is that character who was laughing there. So there you go. Yeah, I love the there you go. Potty humor here. It's all over the chat. I am going to wrap it up really soon because I think I am going to actually go to the AMC Burbank 16 and see a movie. We did enjoy the Fletcher Williams says Gore stress peeing. And that, yeah, Brian Blessed from Flash Gordon. Love him from the Flash Gordon with Sam Jones. Oh, love it. Love it. And The Rise of Skywalker. There's going to be no debate here. Worst Star Wars movie ever made. Worst Star Wars movie ever made. It was awful. And we talk about it quite often because we're still healing from that. We are still hearing from that. And Ryan Landis says, this segment is sponsored by Podcast Depends. Stream while you're streaming. You know, when Endgame was about to come out, I actually went to the store and I looked for adult diapers because I did not want to have to go to the bathroom during Endgame. I was so pumped for when that movie was going to come out. I was dying. I was just like, maybe I should just get some adult diapers and just do that. What I did was I just didn't drink like all, I mean, I was literally just taking water into my mouth, like just to like, so I wasn't dry. I planned for that. And I got through the runtime of that without having to run to the bathroom. So RMFX never stopped streaming. It says, never saw The Rise of Skywalker. TLJ broke me, says Spicy Octopus. There you go. No Marvel movie is worth that, Chris, says Hush Wolf. The sequels are worse than the prequels. Yeah, I would say this, that like actually the prequels have aged better. And if you go back and watch Attack of the Clones, yes, the romance doesn't work. It's very cheesy and simple. But once you get to the second half of Attack of the Clones, and it's pretty dark and pretty scary to see like, oh, the chess pieces are being put into place for the Emperor to take over. I don't know. Going back and rewatching the prequels, I know when we all watched them initially that we, many of us had issues with the prequels, in particular the first one, but you go back and watch it now and it seems like they have aged so much better. So yeah, Masters of Nerddom, Phantom Menace is the Godfather compared to The Rise of Skywalker. Can't argue with you that much about that. RMFX, at least they're not committee checklist movies. That's every Hollywood movie now, is just a committee checklist movie above a certain budget amount. And if it's also based on an IP, it's going to be, it's going to be, yeah. Jeffrey Brooks says, Chris, the CGI has aged so badly. Jeffrey Brooks, come on. It looks good. It looks like a PS2 video game. Talking about the CGI in some of the stuff is really good. And then other stuff, like the Battle of Naboo at the end of Phantom Menace, looks like a PlayStation 2. So, yeah. And just like the chat is on fire here. I can't keep up. Hush Wolf, the Batman Begins. It just gets better with time. Some of these movies, yeah, like somehow, and this is what I miss, is like a movie that is, what am I doing here? Can I show you what my coasters are? So I've got drinks here on the side, and I'll throw like coasters down, whatever, because but here, these are my coasters. It's probably a little, these are my coasters that you can't really see that all that well. I'm still, look, I appreciate y'all sticking with me to watch all this, because I feel like I still don't know how this camera works. I'm just throwing stuff in my background here. I don't, like I feel like the lighting is kind of like one side has a lot of stuff and this side doesn't have that much stuff. I'm still figuring out how to do YouTube. So I promise it'll get better. Micah Henry says, Chris, have you come up with a script treatment for the prequels or the sequels? In my mind, I had a much better, I feel like I had in my imagination just a better idea of what the prequels may have been. I always thought that it should have been a love triangle, like, King Arthur, that we really should have seen the Jedi Knights should have almost been like Camelot, the Knights of the Round Table. There should have been, my imagination. And this, we're going to ask a very serious question in a minute, and I want you all to respond to this. My imagination of what Jedi Knights were, the Jedi Knights, and Luke is all wide-eyed, the Jedi Knights, like, what's a Jedi Knight? And I'm imagining what their costumes are, like maybe they're wearing armor, they've got like these ornate lightsabers, they've got like, script on their armor, and they're very regal, maybe they have helmets, they're also pilots, they've got, I just imagined a completely different design than farmers from Tatooine. Explain to me why Jedi Knights effectively dress pretty much the same as Tatooine moisture farmers. Does anyone have a good answer? Anyone? So here's George Lucas. He's designing all this stuff. And what does he do? He designs the Jedi Knights. And it's just like oh, they're just going to wear these robes or whatever. I know his original idea was that they would be like Toshiro Mifune. Someone had a comment earlier. I'm sorry, I didn't feature it, but someone had a comment earlier. Yeah, George Lucas wanted Toshiro Mifune actually to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. He kept playing with different trios, and I really felt that the trio was going to be Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme, right? Like that it would have been a trio that where it was going to be a love triangle that didn't go so well, where there was betrayal. But I feel like the seeds of Anakin becoming Darth Vader, and I did a panel, and you can look this up. I think we did it as a podcast on our audio. If you go to Spotify or wherever you can find the Film Threat podcast, I did a panel called The Dysfunctional Skywalker Family. In fact, I pitched it to Star Wars Celebration. They turned me down. The premise of the panel is that this dysfunctional family and sort of bad parenting is the reason that the Star Wars universe fell into chaos. Let me explain. Okay. You've got a secret marriage, right? Secret children being born, domestic violence near a volcano. That's not great. You've got, abandoned kids off to be raised by other parents. The twins didn't know they were twins. Really, the cause of all the chaos in the galaxy has to do with bad parenting. If only Anakin Skywalker, born from the Force, raised by a single mother, and no disrespect to those of you who are single mothers, or I was raised by a single mom, there are challenges, and I think that having been raised by a single mom, I always look for like father figures. I wanted there to be, which is why I usually hung out with a crowd of people that were like a decade older than me. I mean, I just always had friends that were older, and because they were, first of all, just into more cool shit and going to concerts. I had a fake ID when I was 14, whatever. But I do think that like we did this whole panel talking about this issue, but my imagination of what the prequels would have been much different. I really feel like Anakin Skywalker should have become Darth Vader sooner, right? So you've got maybe, there's none of this like meeting Anakin as a boy. If that happened, it should have been the first 20 minutes of the movie, cut to later they're friends. And the first movie is an adventure where you see how Anakin and Obi-Wan form this bond. You don't see that in the first movie, The Phantom Menace. That's why it's so weird. In the first movie, it's Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan's kind of a side character, and he meets... Yes, that didn't work. And there's even like, if you go back and you read the original screenplay for The Phantom Menace, there's dialogue exchange between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan. I don't know if it was ever filmed, but it's in the original screenplay, which I read before I saw The Phantom Menace. But, the thing that I thought that would have been more interesting is, you've got the first movie as an adventure, and you've introduced the character, the world, the politics of the world, however much that mattered. And I think it's like way overplayed in the prequel trilogy. You just introduce the characters, how Jedi Knights. I even had this whole idea in my mind that Jedi Knights would have the fighting would be more mental. It would be more even like being able to, because part of fighting in real life, I only know this because I've listened to Joe Rogan talk about this stuff, but I know, having been in the small number of fights I've been in my life, that the thing you don't look at if you're about to get in a physical fight with someone, you don't look at their fists, you look at their eyes, because that telegraphs what moves they're going to make. And not going to go into too much detail about a fight I was in where I was not hit. And the whole thing is, it's sort of like with a video game, when you play a shooter video game, the idea is to not get shot, because if you get shot and you're playing a shooter video game, you lose. So it's not so much about taking out enemies as it is about not being shot, because that's how you last longer. Same thing with fighting. So the most recent fight that I was in, this is a long time ago, folks. I kept that in mind and was able to actually just not get hit, and therefore won the fight, because it got broken up and the guy, he got his just desserts, but not from me, but from security. So anyways, enough about fighting. I thought that like the fight between two Jedi Knights, because we'd never seen that. We'd only seen Luke, fight. And Luke is not a Jedi. He's just sort of a kid, right? So in the prequel trilogy, my imagination is 2 Jedi Knights going at each other would have been just insane. And I don't think anyone would agree with me. Yeah, you can't imagine Chris fighting. Yes, it's not it's not you haven't seen me go into, I call it when I get like to a certain place, I get into dad mode, and that's, I'm not backing down from this. Like, I'm not like, because you see, it's all sweetness and light. And I'm very rarely have to do dad mode, which is like, you're not going to fuck with me. I don't care, whatever. Like, you're an asshole. Like, yes, it has happened. I've had, I'll tell you, not this stream, but another stream, I'll tell you the story about how I went to jail in Detroit for possession of alcohol. Fun story. Many lessons were learned. Very interesting story on another stream for another time. But my imagination of what the Jedi Knights were was different than how George Lucas portrayed it. He basically dressed them exactly as Tatooine moisture farmers. And I don't know why that's not brought up enough. And no one, now it's like, they could say, oh, well, Jedi Knights, they're humble. I just imagined that they would be a bit more badass. And I expected that there would be, they meet, Anakin and Padme fall in love, that in the second movie, they're in love. There's some galactic emergency. And in an act of self-sacrifice, Anakin saves Padme and appears to have died. Except Anakin doesn't die. Anakin doesn't die. Here's what happens. Padme thinks that Anakin is dead. He's not. Over the course of Anakin's absence, a romantic affection happens between Obi-Wan and Padme with the assumption that Anakin has passed away, right? He's dead. But she's also pregnant, who's going to raise these kids, whatnot. And I thought that it was foreshadowed with C-3PO and how C-3PO has no coverings, right? So you saw like C-3PO was sort of half complete, and you saw this sort of the robot innards of C-3PO. And they put that there for a reason, because you saw Anakin was good with fixing things, with building things. So my imagination was like, aha, so what's going to happen in the second movie is Darth Vader, or the sort of like a sort of halfway between Vader and Anakin, where you see Anakin with the help of some people has rebuilt himself, and what what C-3PO looked like in episode 1 would be Anakin's legs, would be Anakin's arm, would be, he'd be disfigured in some way. He'd be wearing a cloak. He returns to Padme, and it's like a Phantom of the Opera type thing, where he's frightened at the reaction that she'll have to his scarred and disfigured half cyborg body, right? That he's wearing this cloak to cover the C-3PO like legs and arm, right? He's and then he sees Obi-Wan and her are romantic, and that's when a fight, the beginnings of a fight occur. The galaxy turns, and the third movie is hunting down Jedi and all sorts of badness. He should have really turned into Darth Vader, not in the final 5 minutes of the fucking movie. And we'll see where Kenobi goes from there. And I think, like Thumper says, was Anakin too pretty in the beginning? Maybe. I don't have a problem with that. Anakin was based on James Dean. If you look at James Dean, go back and watch a movie called East of Eden, starring James Dean. It was his first movie. In fact, James Dean died before any of his movies came out. East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant, all shot, unreleased. James Dean dies in a terrible car accident in a Porsche because he was racing cars. He just did an idiot. We did a whole thing in Film Thread about it, actually. It's a collectible issue. Ramina Jones, East of Eden, really good book, great book, tragic, because so much of what's like, there's so much that happens sort of like the way that they got away with stuff in movies back then. There was so much suggestion of things. I don't want to say what it is, but East of Eden, watch that movie. That was kind of the performance and the type of actor that George Lucas was said to be searching for. He wanted like a James Dean type, kind of a pensive, filled with some inner pain and hurt. That's what he was looking for. So I understand why he got Hayden Christensen, and he's really good in that movie. What's that movie where Glass? God, what's the movie that I watched? I thought it was great, where he plays the journalist who basically lied his way. Yeah. And $1.99 super chat from Joshua Levesque. I remember the correct pronunciation from last time. Thank you for the $1.99. Love the channel and hope you're having a great day, man. Thank you very much. But look, my imagination of what the Star Wars prequels were, this incredible friendship between Obi-Wan and Anakin, what could tear that friendship apart? And I always ask when I did that panel, the dysfunctional Skywalker family, the one question I would always ask was, and this tells me why there are flaws with the Star Wars prequels. You'll understand why in a second. I would ask the audience a simple question. Why did Anakin turn to the dark side? And people would raise their hands and I'd call on them and everybody had a different answer. The Jedi Council was holding him back. He was like seduced by this. It should be a very simple answer, right? It should be a very simple, this inciting act occurred and drove him there. And I don't think there's, my imagination of, and I remember, did anyone ever remember a website called theforce.net? Not only did I visit that site daily, which is my daily morning ritual, check that site. I would be refreshing it throughout the day to get news about the prequels. And they even did a thing on there where they were talking about, they sort of were doing their imagination of what the sequels could have been. I think the thing is that, Star Wars, because it's been with us for so long that we've kind of like all created something in our minds. Like I still have Star Wars toys. Look here on the shelf right here. Okay. I'm going to see this. This is the die-cast Millennium Falcon that I had when I was a kid. Do you see what it's covered in? That's not paint. That's dirt from the playground in the sand. I'd leave it outside. I mean, this thing is beat terribly. And it is, it looks awful. It's also, we didn't care because the whole thing with the Star Wars universe was everything was like, everything was used like the world we live in. But Thank you, Chris. Yes, it should be a simple answer. Why did Anakin Skywalker turn to the dark side? And if you ask a group of people, they'll all give different answers. And just having gone to San Diego Comic-Con since, the early 90s, was it 89 or 90 was my first year? I'm trying to remember. I'm also trying to see, how do I get the focal plane to just be one place? It's bopping around. My apologies for those of you watching this. Hopefully you're not watching this. You're actually just listening, which is great. But yeah, there was, and Ryan Landis makes a good point. I don't know. It makes sense that it was built up over time, like his mom dying. I mean, there were incidents, right? But there should be a definitive answer. And I feel like, Obi-Wan and Padme becoming involved after both of them thought that Anakin had died in an act of self-sacrifice because he was a hero, becoming disfigured and losing a limb, right? Losing limbs to save, would have been more interesting. Or even better, Revenge of the Sith. Anakin's merely knocked unconscious and Obi-Wan gets away with Padme, saves the twins. Emperor Palpatine finds Anakin and is so living in fear that Anakin could destroy him. He's foreseen something where Anakin could destroy him. Palpatine is the one that chops off Anakin's legs and arms. That's what Palpatine does. But because Anakin was knocked unconscious, he assumes that Obi-Wan did that to him. And thus puts the hatred in Anakin's heart about Obi. There's so many better story things. I mean, first of all, I'm not like, I'm a writer, but I'm not a writer of a caliber of the person who created Star Wars. And I have no illusions about that at all. I just think that if I'm coming up with ideas that kind of like in my head, like sound better than what we got, and I've had other friends pitch me their versions of what the prequels should have been and or the sequels should have been, and all of them are better than what we came up with. And maybe it's just because we've lived with it in our heads for so long. We've created adventures that we'll only see in our minds. And so there you go. That might be a really good panel, or maybe even a book where you get some of the great fiction writers and like how they would have done the sequels and the prequels, because, there's disappointment about both. I would say less so with the prequels now, because the prequels are really about a democracy sliding into authoritarian rule. Not going to say that it's kind of commenting on stuff. I mean, I don't know if like George Lucas was that forward thinking, but wow, do the prequels resonate now more than ever. And Ryan Landis said maybe we didn't need the prequels, right? Like, yeah, and Jack D. Ripper, nobody questioned George's ideas. He was surrounded by yes men. Yeah, there was a documentary, and I strongly recommend it. It's called The Beginning, and it's actually on the Star Wars official YouTube channel. You know what? I'm gonna freaking look it up. I'm just gonna look it up, because why wouldn't I do that? I'm gonna look up because I want to put it in the chat. It's a documentary about the making of Star Wars Episode 1. And it is it's an extra that was on the standard def DVD. Here it is, the full version. It's a little over an hour. I'm not gonna, because I'll get a copyright strike or whatever. I am gonna put it in the chat for you right now. And this shows you this was originally intended to be a feature-length movie that was going to be released to theaters. Wait, did it go through? Okay, there it is. Yeah. There's the YouTube link. You can just look up Star Wars The Beginning. And it's very telling that the documentary did not appear on the Star Wars Blu-rays. When George Lucas released all 6 Star Wars movies on Blu-ray, that documentary, The Beginning, was not included. After Disney bought Star Wars, they actually put the documentary not only on, I believe it's an extra on Disney Plus, but they also they just threw it up on the YouTube channel. That documentary is literally like you could just do infinite Curb Your Enthusiasm, those little Curb Your Enthusiasm videos where they cut and they've got the music. This is directed by Robert. You could do a bunch of them. You see George Lucas casting young Anakin Skywalker, and he's talking to these kids, and one kid is just way better than Jake Lloyd. He has some intensity. He kind of even looks like Mark Hamill. Like, it's like, oh wow, this kid. I think the problem is the age. I really think that like kids should have been a little older, 13, 14 years, right? I think would have been older. I think like 9 years old is a little too young to put the weight of a film franchise on there, the first movie, right? So yeah. Chris, have you seen that meme that compares your hair to Johnny Depp's in Fantastic Beasts? Joshua, I have not. Why is this meme? Why are we not looking at it right now? I don't know. Reply to me on social media and I'll take a look at it. But yeah, I don't know. I get David Lynch. Like I said, I started going silver when I was 19, and depending on the lighting, what will happen is my hair when I was younger used to look translucent, like it was just clear. So it still looked kind of dirty blonde. And now it's just whatever. I'm Steve Martin. So there you go. But watch that documentary, The Beginning. It really is. You see George Lucas kind of making some poor decisions. No one is really challenging him. When the original Star Wars was made, he was challenged quite a bit by his then wife, Marcia Lucas, brilliant editor, who was trusted by Coppola among many filmmakers who really trusted Marcia Lucas. Someone's told me there's a documentary about her, but I haven't been able to find it. I don't know if that really exists. Was it an extra somewhere? There should just be a documentary called Marcia about Marcia Lucas. That's an untold story right there. But, he wasn't surrounded by Gary Kurtz, who I had an opportunity to interview once. You can go to filmthreat.com, look up the interview with Gary Kurtz. I'm going to find it and just put it in the chat here, because why not? I did this interview. He talks about, wait, is my site? Wait, no, I spelled it wrong. How did I spell my own site wrong? I added too many R's. True. That's true. So I'll look this up. Also, appreciate you guys sticking with me. I have over 100 people watching right now. Over 100 people watching right now the stream. We don't get a lot like that, you know. I'm really happy when we get 50 people, but this is great. 134 people watching. Thank you for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. When we get to 40,000, we're going to debut a video, a special video. We're very close. So here's this interview I did with Gary Kurtz back in the day. He talks about what the Star Wars prequels were supposed to be. They were supposed to happen 25,000 years previous to the events in A New Hope, with the formation of the original Jedi Knights, and then cut to later what the Star Wars sequels were intended to be. It was good. Revenge of the Jedi, as it was originally called, had a much darker ending. Han Solo was going to die in the end in an act of self-sacrifice. It would have been, and you look, the tone kind of shifts. But check out that interview with Gary Kurtz. He doesn't really criticize George so much. And do you ever think there will be a spiritual sequel to The People versus George Lucas that's focused on the fan reaction of the sequels? It could be called The People versus Lucasfilm if ever made. Eric Jimenez, I would love to make that movie. I'm actually in The People versus George Lucas, which is out there. But yeah, The People versus Lucasfilm, I would love. That would be very interesting. There is a documentary out called The Prequels Strike Back that I'm also in. I'm not like recommending documentaries that I just tend to turn up in a lot of documentaries. But yeah, I'm in The Prequels Strike Back. I'm in The People versus George Lucas. I'm in a bunch of this stuff. But just because filmmakers like, hey, you can say something smart in 30 seconds. Not that I've done that tonight. James K says, let's go, Chris Hale. Yeah, Eric Jimenez. If look, that sounds like a movie that should be made. You should hit me up. Go to filmthreat.com, click on contact. If you're interested, we should talk about that. Because I've got two documentaries that one is kind of almost done. The other one is going to be finished by July. In July for San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to be doing a screening of a movie, and I'll tell you how you can go. Jinx says Ford begged for Lucas to kill off his character. George's response was, they don't make toys of dead people, Harrison. Well, yeah, he got kind of obsessed with the toy thing. So James Kelly, The People versus Kathleen Kennedy. I'd rather The People versus Lucasfilm would be great. Yeah, I'm kind of working on a project that's similar to that, but that might be a better title. I don't want to talk about it except with Eric, who's just was there. There you go. I really can't stick around much longer because I still actually have Film Thread is my day job, believe it or not. I answer hundreds of emails a day. I tell people what to do to keep the website, keep that thing going. And yeah, how did Harrison Ford want Solo to die? Why did Harrison Ford want to die so much? He just didn't want to be saddled with that character. This happens, like if you're Christopher Reeve, you play Superman, you're Superman in every movie, right? So knowing how popular the character of Han Solo was, he just didn't want to be stuck with playing, Han Solo forever. I think that's when most, it's a double-edged sword when you play a character that is going to be iconic or in an IP. So yeah. So SJ says, I heard a rumor that Jonathan Jackson was supposed to be cast as Anakin instead of Hayden Christensen, but he didn't like that it got leaked ahead of time. Yeah, it's a weird thing. So yeah, Jonathan Jackson, maybe it would have been, there are a couple other people that were in contention for that role. So yeah. George Lucas does not like leaks. He does not like leaks. You're loyal to George, loyal to the plaid. So yeah, yet Ford is doing another Indiana Jones movie. I don't know. What has he got to pay for kids' college? He's got grandkids. Who knows? He's got, Usually when you see actors doing that, they're like, all right, I'll do this movie I did in the 80s. I'll reprise that character. It's money. It's just money. There's too much money. So look, lucky for Harrison Ford, they killed off the entire franchise. Well, he got his movie death, but it's the worst. It's probably one of the worst deaths in movie history of an iconic character. And Indy Ford kind of killed Indy. Yeah, I fell asleep when I saw that movie at the ArcLight. It was pretty bad. So he's got another plane to crash, says Infinite Maid. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows what this new movie is going to be? I've heard that the new Indiana Jones deals with time travel, and maybe there'll be some deep fake type stuff. There you go. Chris is so bossy. Let's go get a drink. Let's go watch a movie. Hey, let me send you free stuff. Jeez. What, Turo? What? Wait, did you get that stuff I sent you? I assume you did. I try to make sure, do you want to hear a terrible thing that I do? This is how I text message myself things that I'm supposed to do, because I'll pay attention to the text message. Feel free to make fun of me. It's fine. But I actually text message myself things that I'm supposed to do so that I'll actually do it. I'm going to wrap this up real quick, but a quick reminder. I'm wearing this t-shirt that says, award this. Why am I wearing that? Because you can support us and buy something at shop.filmthreat.com. You can not only get the t-shirt, tickets are going on sale in less than a week. You will be among the first to know. We're going to be announcing it to the nominees because some of the nominees want to bring extra people. Then I'll be announcing it to everyone here. Tickets are going to be, I believe they're $60 for regular seats, but you get drink tickets. You get to see the show, come to the red carpet. So there's drinks and a gift bag. It's a fundraiser for the Frida Cinema. So you can go to awardthis.com, get on our list to get tickets, or the live stream that we'll be doing probably next week. We're going to announce that tickets are on sale, and I'll have a kind of the preview link. When you sign up for the email list and you get the preview link. Yeah, the preview link is going to be going out. It's going to be fun. I'll be there. There'll be comedians and critics. The filmmakers will be there at the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana, California. There'll be a pre-party. There's going to be a unofficial after party. I can't really talk about it, but I'll talk about it with you. But yeah, so check out awardthis.com, and I'll give you a little taste of what Award This is. Because I don't know if everybody saw this video. It's just over a minute, and it's a little taste of what the award show is like. It's a lot of fun. It's indie filmmakers kind of bearing their soul, right? Wait, did I put it in here? You know what? I might not have put the video in here. No, I didn't. There you go. You know what I got to do here? I'm gonna quickly change our branding. No one's gonna care. There you go. And I'm just gonna show you this video real quick. And it's just a video that shows you what the event is like. It's super fun. And I got to make fun of myself for a second. Shame. I got to get better at this stuff. I'm trying to bring up videos and whatever. Well, okay, I'll give it a try. It's great. That's kind of how I feel like some people feel about Star Wars. All right. Enough. Let me find this. Where did I put this? I have this video here. Is it not? No. Wait. What's this? Wow, we're on the trade show floor at South by Southwest, and you just see the most fun, crazy things. Well, you know what? We're going to have to save that video for another time because I actually technically can't. Oh, no, here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to award this.
Thank you for being here. We're here to give recognition to true indie movies.
This is very special to me, so thank you guys very much. Thank you. Thank you to Film Threat.
This means so much to me because the creative process sucks ass and every part of it is brutal. I was writing shit and going, oh, this sucks, man. And then you give notes to someone, they're like, kind of sucks. And then you find somebody who wants to make it and he's like, we don't have money. And then you get money and then you're like, fuck, now I have to make this shit. And then you see the first edit and it fucking sucks, man. We're all gonna release our shit into the ether, hoping what, our grandkids will watch it and appreciate us? No one gives a fuck, but Film Threat did.
There you go. Hopefully you can join me. It is a party. It's Saturday, May 21st in Santa Ana, California. Again, there's a cocktail party before. There's a red carpet. You can walk the red carpet. You can get your pictures taken there. I'll be there hanging out. We're going to be doing, and if you cannot make it, let's say you're on the East Coast, you can't make it. We're going to be live streaming the event here on YouTube. So you'll be able to watch not only the red carpet live, you'll be able to see the show live on YouTube. We have not done that before. I'm sure it's going to be a train wreck. So watch it. But yeah, no, that is somebody said this is me talking about my art, says Turo. Yeah, that was an actor named Barrick Hardley who did a great indie comedy called Spell, which was awesome. He won that year, and it's a really amazing independent comedy. And Barrick is also an actor that's been in he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's even been every time, when you see the Super Bowl commercials, he's in one of them. He's a guy who always turns up in a lot of commercials. But yeah, he gave that speech and it went it kind of blew up on social media. Tim Heidecker even retweeted that speech and was like, this is what it's like to be an independent artist. So you can see actually the entire unedited speech actually on the Film Threat YouTube channel. If you just look up award this just on the channel, you can actually watch. But yeah, and DMFO, no slapping on stage. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, look, there's going to be comedians there. I think it's going to be a train wreck. So we'll see. Is FT going to ever do anything in NYC ever? Patrick Lemire asks. Maybe. I just applied for credentials for New York Comic Con. If I come out there, I'll do a panel and then I'll do a meetup or something. But if it's possible for you to make it to award this, I'd love to have you there. It's a fundraiser because the Frida Cinema is the only independent cinema in Orange County. It's a small indie theater that's just, it's a nonprofit. So the reason the ticket prices are, it's going to charity, but also, to pay for the event. We just want to award indie movies that don't get enough recognition. So I hope you'll either watch it live. You can watch it and chat live, which will be a blast. And, or, you can join me at the event. I'll be there. Thank you so much for everybody here. The chat has been on fire tonight. I can't believe we're getting over 100 people watching. Yeah. Thumper says, East Coast of what country? The United States, New York Comic Con. Dude, all right. And AI privilege, yeah. It's thank you you'll be watching. Thank you. Yeah, you'll get much. I'm going to be talking about so much you're going to get sick of it, but it's a really fun event. I wonder if I'll have to show you later. On Friday, I'm going to show you the special pin that's going to be in the gift bag. That's awesome. It is really cool. But thank you to everyone. So much great chats. Thank you for your super chats. Thank you just for, I don't know, just us being able to hang out. I was a little standoffish on doing live streams initially. I don't know why. I was standoffish. And I feel like now I look forward to it and talking with you about and showing you weird, very immature videos that are on. I'm literally just uploading oh, this is a funny thing I did that one day. That was a stupid thing. Why did I do that? And just I'm literally, and I'm sending my sister and my family stupid stuff I don't even post on Instagram. Just I'm just going to post this crazy stuff. But thank you so much for watching. We'll be back Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's going to be a big show. And I can't wait to chat with you all there. Please don't miss it. Please, if you miss it, catch the replay. Thank you again. And that's it. And as I like to say, let's get out of here.